Hello, this is OV with another product demo for you today. Today we're going to be looking at the Insta360 Link. This is an AI 4K powered webcam. Now when I saw this being advertised, I was pretty interested in it because it seemed to have like a lot of features and it seemed to do them really well. Now of course I'm always skeptical about certain devices if they look too good to be true. But after seeing lots of reviews and reading comments and seeing other demos, it seems to be pretty genuine, pretty legit. So this is what I have for you here today. And some of the things that I am interested in showing you, I'm not going to show you everything due to some time constraints, but I want to test, one, its tracking abilities. I want to see how good the built-in microphones are as well. I want to see how well it does in sort of a low light environment. Right now I do have the overhead lights on and some ambient lamps and other things on as well. But later on in the video I will shut off the overhead lights just to have a comparison. So regarding the tracking, if I move back and forth, left and right, it does track me really quickly, so that's pretty on point. Now you can change the tracking speed if it's going too fast or too slow for your preferences. You can change that in the settings, so that's pretty cool. As far as the zooming, it has AI zoom, so right now I have it set to kind of zoom into my head and shoulders, so if I back up away from my desk, you can see that it tries to keep my head and shoulders into view. So if I move forward, again, it tries to keep me in the frame wherever I am situated at my desk, which is really nice. The webcam has a gimbal on it. It has a lot of range of motion, so when you're moving left and right, back and forth, it all seems to track you really well. Now it can do some other AI features such as gestures. And some of the gestures I found to be a little finicky from time to time. It may struggle depending if you have a lot of motion or something going on in your background. Also, maybe the lighting could come into play. But I will show you one gesture here in a little bit when we test out the whiteboard function. But right now, I'm going to stand up, walk around the room, and let's see how well it's going to track me. So I'm not moving super fast necessarily right now. Just because I want to make sure that in a general standard situation that it will be able to track you all right. So as I move kind of to the back of my room, I'm probably about, I'd say maybe 6 feet or so away from the webcam, and as you can see, it is still tracking me really well. If I continue to move about my room, I'm going to say I'm probably about maybe 8 feet at this point, and I am curious how the audio is going to sound. I'm going to assume that it may struggle a little bit with the audio just because of the distance. If anything, maybe it might sound a bit more robotic if it's applying some kind of type of noise filters and other types of enhancements to the audio. So I move here to the very far left of my desk. I'm getting to the point where I'm actually getting to the door of my room. And as you can see, the gimbal tracks me really well. It's actually adjusting automatically for the lighting, so that works good too as far as exposure is concerned. But what I'd like to test right now really quickly is the whiteboard mode. Now what you see behind me is not an actual whiteboard, it's just a regular display with these symbols that you would put on your whiteboard or whatever you're going to use as your whiteboard. So to do a whiteboard mode, we're going to do a gesture which looks sort of like a V. So according to the product demonstration, you lift your hand up, you do the V symbol here off to the side. The camera, as you can see, goes into kind of a whiteboard scanning mode, and voila, it now zooms into the whiteboard area here. So what we would do, again, if this was an actual touchscreen or a whiteboard, you can begin to write and annotate to do whatever you need to do. You'll talk to your audience, continue going about your presentation here, writing up stuff as you need to. And when you're done, you simply come back and you do the symbol again. Excuse me. And then it starts tracking you again. So that works pretty well. I need to test again how you sort of enable and reenact these gestures to do them as cleanly as possible. So as you can see, gestures sometimes work pretty good. The whiteboard mode was pretty impressive. I believe your whiteboard has to be within 10 feet or closer of your webcam in order to get it to be recognized and kind of do that automatic zooming in. But I do want to test also some ambient light in here without the overhead lights, so more of a low light situation. So let's come over here and let's turn off the lights. And it may take a second for the auto exposure to kick in, but you can see as I move around the room, it's not bad with the amount of light that's in here. It's doing a decent job of sort of lighting me up without a lot of grain or a lot of noise in the video. So let me have a seat here again in front of the monitor. And again, the lighting conditions will change. I do have a bright lamp here behind me, which is not always the greatest idea. You don't want to have a bright subject behind you because it may have the tendency to sort of wash you out. But it's not bad. Tracking again still works well in low light, so that's good. And if you needed to, if you have a light here behind you or in front of you, actually you can turn that on again to sort of supplement some of the low light that you may be dealing with. So that is working good as well. Now there's some other features I'm not going to show here today. There is sort of like this desktop mode where it becomes kind of like a document camera, and you can zoom down on your desk and flip the image so you can annotate also while you're writing on your desk, which is pretty cool. And you can do all that without having to move your actual webcam from its position above your monitor. Now, one final thing I would like to test with you is what's known as the desktop mode. So with this feature, the camera tries to sort of replicate what you can do with a document camera. So if you have a document on your desk or anything else that you want to show or maybe even write and annotate on, the camera will go down at an angle, change the perspective so it looks flat, so that you can maybe write and demonstrate something with a different type of angle on your camera. Now in theory the idea sounds good, but in practice I'm going to say this feature seems a little weak, maybe I'm missing something, but let's enable it now and you can let me know what you think. Alright, so I'm using the software right now. I don't believe that there is a gesture to turn on this desktop mode. So what I'm going to do is turn on desk view mode right now by clicking a button on the software that came with the Insta360 link. Okay, so by default this is the zoom view that it has. Now my desk wasn't even long enough to do this properly, and I had to just put a stool here in front of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just manually zoom in here so that we could get a better view. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to reposition the paper as I do that, as I zoom in, so that you can kind of get an idea of what this looks like. Now of course the closer you zoom in, the less the clarity is going to become, and you can see it starts getting a little fuzzy. And I'm sure some of that is just because of the processing it has to do to sort of change the perspective. But in a pinch, this could work. Like I said, it seems a little too fuzzy to see some of the smaller details. If I zoomed into this, I doubt that it would get much cleaner. Let's just give it a quick try though to see. No, so for small text, this is pretty much the maximum that I'm able to zoom in. That's probably gonna not be doable. But for other stuff, perhaps, you could do some basic marking up. You wouldn't want to have any detailed content on here. Okay, so this feature is not the greatest, but I guess it's alright to have it just in case maybe you could do something with it. But I'm going to say use it sparingly for the time being. And then you can just go back to your sort of default camera view with the AI tracking that we had enabled, as you saw before. So for $249 or less, this has been a pretty impressive webcam. I'm going to do some more testing for you. If I discover anything else noteworthy, I will post another video and talk to you more about that. But thank you for watching, and let me know your comments. Thank you, and have a great day.